Bad chat. Bad. Oh no. There we go. Chat, we're live, brother. We're live. Isn't this a crazy world we live in, man? What the hell? But alright. Yeah, we got a couple videos to go over. We're gonna go over this one video that I don't even know is it what it's about at all. Uh some door I've been seeing this. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's YouTube friendly. Well, it's on YouTube, so let me exit out all this shit. I was trying to look up. My OBS stopped working because I updated my drivers and then it just stopped working and I had to fix it. Took a minute too. Okay. Might be a few videos. Of course, I want to go over the Oklahoma network. That's gonna take a little while. I mean, that's absolutely wild that he got off. Dude, this dude. I mean, his father was a Oklahoma State. He was the head of football operations or something like that. Which is fucking wild. But yeah. All right, let me pull it up on the screen. 1 second. I'll watch that video after. Let's watch this video. I don't know what this is about, but I've been seeing a bunch of people telling me to watch it, so let's see.
All right, guys and girls. So there's a story
loud.
going around surrounding this.
Was that loud? Oh, let me make sure it's not loud on stream. Let me pull this up side by side. 1 second.
All right, guys and girls. So there's a story going around surrounding this
loud.
DoorDasher. This woman, I don't even know her name, but she's a female DoorDasher who.
Okay. Shout out Maury, this guy that made this. Maury, 2.2 million subscribers. So, shout out to him. I had to fix that volume. Okay. But yeah, let's listen.
All right, guys and girls. So there's a story going around surrounding this DoorDasher. This woman, I don't even know her name, but she's a female DoorDasher who recently lost her job because, well, I mean, she was doing her job. She went to pick up food, and as DoorDashers do, they deliver food to people with instructions right on the app. And on the app, it said, leave the food on the doorstep, right? So step one, DoorDash assigns an order to a driver in the vicinity. Step two, that particular driver, depending on how many orders they have, will pick up that order and multiple other orders before they are on their way to delivery. Step three, when they finally get to their destination, there are instructions listed on the order, like leave it by the door, or knock on the door, or call me when you get there. Now, in this particular situation, and I've not heard any sensible takes, aside from a few creators out there, like Abba and Preach, of which I was watching their stream on this earlier. But aside from them, I've not heard any sensible, moderate takes on this. And it seems to me this is why I'm a voice of reason in this hellish landscape of extremeness on both sides. Hot take, and I know this is going to upset a lot of people, which it shouldn't. But both of the individuals in this situation were wrong. Yes, two wrongs don't make a right. Ha ha. Revolutionary, right? But to get into the meat and potatoes, she approached this guy's door, right? Apparently it was cracked or wide open.
Let's read this. What happened to me while I was doing my job door dashing? I'm being punished as a victim by all sectors involved right now. The police, DoorDash, and TikTok are all punishing me right now. What could she have done as a DoorDasher to have the police on her? Like, I mean, I don't know, but let's keep
There's
watching.
debate on whether or not the door was wide open or cracked at the time of her approaching this door to leave food on his doorstep. But let me play the footage for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about before I go on my yap session about my entire thoughts on the situation.
Okay.
That's fucked up.
The hell?
So as you can see, she's a bit puzzled, right? Now, everybody's debating on whether or not
The fuck just happened? She pointed to the food and said that's fucked up. That doesn't make any sense. But okay, let's see.
she
Okay.
actually, when delivering that food, saw the door was cracked and decided to push it in because she peeped inside. Maybe it was kind of like, you know, being nosy before actually delivering the food. Pushed the door open or not and intruded on this man's privacy. Other people are speculating that the door was already wide open like that. As you can see, she's on the street too. And the man is literally passed out with his pants around his ankle. Now, I'm just going to assume because
Oh, I didn't see that part.
and the man is literally speculating that the door was already wide open.
Oh. You can't really see anything here, but I guess that's the thing. That's what's going on. I mean, he has his pants down and the door is open. What? Okay, but why are both people wrong? Because she recorded it, I guess. Okay, yeah, that would be not ideal. I mean, I see why he's saying both parties are wrong because, well, he's probably on drugs or something. I mean, what else would it be? And then she shouldn't have been recording him. She should have just put the shit on the doorstep and been about her business. But yeah, okay, I didn't see that at first because it's blurred and I don't know what's happening. But okay.
Like that. As you can see, she's on the street too. And the man is literally passed out with his pants around his ankle. Now, I'm just going to assume, because there's literally no proof that this man did this intentionally, that he may have passed out from an intense goon session, or he may have been, you know, very drunk. Could have been a Friday night. Bro probably smoked a little Mary Jane, you know, took back a few shots of tequila, tried to rub one out, and before he could complete the job, he just passed out. Like, it happens all the time. And as far as the door being wide open, we don't know why. Could have been a strong gust of wind. He could just have a shitty fucking lock. I don't know. Or maybe he could legitimately be a creep, a perv. All of that is speculation. There's literally no proof. Now, to put myself in her shoes, to play devil's advocate, since a lot of people are railing against her, I will say if I were a DoorDasher and I approached this situation, roles reversed, it was a woman passed out on the couch, pants around her ankle, and literally she's just laying there, ass cheeks and all. I would be a little weirded out too, but you know what? You know what I wouldn't do is I would not film her. I wouldn't upload her to the internet. I wouldn't dox her. I would say, ma'am, are you all right? Is everything all right? If no response, then hey, I'm just here to do my job. I will drop the food down, and I
That's what
certainly
I was
wouldn't press
saying,
the door
bro.
to crack it open, which people are speculating that she did. I wouldn't do any of that. I would just leave the food there, take the picture for proof that I delivered the food, and be on my way. I wouldn't film her or him and upload it to the internet to embarrass them or whatever and claim that I was sexually assaulted. Because yes, ladies and gentlemen, she's claimed that she's been sexually assaulted in this situation, which is just a reach. And I'm tired and
Whoa, what the fuck? That came out of left field. She was sexually assaulted. Okay, that ramps up the environment. So, uh, she puts the food. She was wait, wait. She was sexually assaulted, but she was door dashing to his house. Something ain't adding up. How are you door dashing to bro's house and you get sexually assaulted? And you just were recording the food and while you after you got sexually assaulted. Nah, something doesn't make sense, bro. Something doesn't make sense.
this day and age, people watering down literally everything. People have watered down sexual harassment in general, racism, all the isms, all the phobias. Like, a lot of these words don't even hold the power that they once used to because people just keep using them and labeling them for any situation, basically, that bothers them, offends them, or they feel uncomfortable in. That said, in this video, she actually named the man in the situation. She said a man named Austin orders DoorDash, selects the option to have order left at door, sees his DoorDasher me has a female name, quote unquote, falls asleep on the couch with his pants down and underwear around his ankles and his front door wide open in 59-degree Fahrenheit. So this is what I see when I have to leave the order. In that situation, again, to play devil's advocate, It is creepy. We don't know his intentions, nor did she. But of course,
Fair.
because of his gender and the time of day and because she's a woman, there's preconceived notions. We all have natural biases running through our subconscious every single day. Unfortunately, that is what it is. So I can understand her perspective from her point of view. But again, the best course of action from that point on forward was to not film that naked man on his couch because you don't know what kind of state of mind he was.
Jesus, people are weird these days too, huh? I mean, like, I didn't even think of that option. Jesus Christ. I mean, what would you even get out of doing that? I mean, that's just how sick some people are. That's how sick some people are today. To where, like, they'll do the weirdest things that you can't even think of. Like, imagine even thinking of doing that. Now, I'm not saying he did that. I mean, first thing I thought of was he was on drugs, and then he ordered some food and he passed the fuck out, and he didn't know the door was open. That's probably the more likely option. But him sitting there with his pants down because the DoorDash driver was a woman. I mean, anything can happen these days, but I mean, I think that's uh, the less likely uh, outcome there than the drugs uh, situation that I was thinking of. But yeah, I guess that could have happened for sure. But that's also not sexual harassment. That's just very weird, probably.
And if you were genuinely concerned, you could have literally just called 911 if you were concerned for his safety, which you likely were not. You could have reported it to DoorDash. You could have just gently put the food down, take the picture back away, report it to all the authorities you want to. And lastly, what you could have done was not upload it to the internet because now she's been fired.
Hey guys, so DoorDash just deactivated me 2 days after I reported my sexual assault. Hey guys, I just lost my job. And they won't tell me why.
Ma'am, the reason why is because you filmed a naked man in the privacy of his own home. Mind you, at first glance, the situation can come off as creepy, but you don't know why he was passed out on his couch, and you uploaded it, a nude video of him, to the internet.
Like the thing that sketches me out is the first two things that you think of that I think, for me personally, I think that the normal person would come to the conclusion of. The first two things would be the woman would think that he's on drugs. This motherfucker is weird. I'm just gonna drop the food and then leave, right? I mean, I think that's what would be the most natural reaction to that situation is. But she took the alternative route and said, "Oh, he's obviously faking it or something," and then he just has his pants down because the driver is a woman. Okay, so she thought that, and then I mean, I just don't see how that's the first thing that can pop into your head, and then you recording it. Like, who thinks of that? Why are you recording it doesn't make any sense. If you're actually scared, like the dude in the video is saying, like, you would just leave. You would just leave, or if you're actually scared, you call the police. But instead, you're recording it. I mean, you can't be that scared. I'm sorry. If I was scared, the first thing I'm doing is calling the cops. 100%, 100%. But keep it going.
Doxed him. You shared his name out there. Austin, I believe, to millions of people. You're too much of a liability. Of course, they're gonna fire you.
They're supposed to send an email immediately after deactivation, providing you the reason why and a link to appeal. And they didn't. So I contacted support, and they made me sit on the phone with them for 50 minutes just to tell me that they can't tell me the reason why, and I have to just go ahead and appeal without knowing why.
Now, I will be fair to her again and say, hey, it is very annoying. I deal with this situation with YouTube all the time. They'll tell you a made-up excuse, or they literally won't tell you the reason why they took down a video or penalized you. So I completely understand her frustration. But again, I'm pretty sure DoorDash and you at the point in time knew exactly why you were deactivated.
So my chances of getting my account back, they have my money in that account. I was working! I was literally working! And they deactivated me! This is related. They just punished me for posting about my sexual assault while door dashing. They just fired me. And the police are doing nothing. I lost my job. And that was my only way to make money to pay my bills.
Yeah, this chick is crazy. And she's watering down the word sexual assault when there's real sexual
Dude,
assault.
what are the fucking police supposed to do about this, bro? This is crazy. What are they supposed to do? Arrest a man for being in his house naked? I mean, come on, man. I mean, you can't do anything. If at best, what you can give her is it was weird. That's the best thing you can give her. That's the best thing you can give her, because I mean, most likely that motherfucker was just on drugs and he was passed out trying to order some food.
Victims out there who were actively raped, like forcibly pinned down to situations against their will and their innocence taken away. Now, there are a lot of weirdos out there who want to say what that man did on that couch, him, I guess, sleeping with his pants around his ankles, is sexual assault. They want to broaden the term. Okay, let's play by that logic. Then I guess any form of public indecency is going to be sexual assault too, right? And this will be highly subjective, right? Because I guess a lot of people are now just going to start being sexual assault. People who come outside with nothing but speedos and stilettos on, sexual assault. Motherfuckers who don't shower on the daily and are constantly assaulting my olfactory senses. Is that now harassment to my nose? Harassment to now my ability to smell? Certain girls who come outside with literal lingerie,
picture's
or
so funny,
mind you,
bro.
I live in Atlanta, right? Women coming outside with invisible bras, you could literally see their big ass areolas right through the fabrics, and short ass
facts.
skirts with no underwear on, where you could literally see their ass cheeks.
Especially in Atlanta,
and
that's
if they do have
facts.
underwear on, is basically like a G-string. Is that now sexual assault? Because in my mind, I wouldn't classify it as such. I would say at max, it's indecent exposure, and I wish a lot of people would kind of like not come outside like that. But I wouldn't say personally I'm now have been sexually assaulted. And DoorDash's response was, we've seen tough, sensitive posts, right? So they fired her, well, deactivated her account. Technically, you're a contractor on these apps since you're not of legal employment. Technically, some states have tried to, make ride-sharing delivery people employees, but that's besides the point. They say, we've seen some tough and sensitive posts over the past few days, and we want to clear the air. No one should ever have to experience sexual assault, harassment, or abuse. And DoorDash never deactivates someone for reporting it. Full stop. Point blank period. We take these reports incredibly seriously and work closely with law enforcement to investigate and support those affected. And I 100% agree with DoorDash in this situation. They also say in this case, the Dasher let us know about an experience that made them feel unsafe. And that's exactly what we always want Dashers to do. Our team immediately began investigating and has been in direct contact with law enforcement and is prepared to fully support any of their efforts. However, posting a video of a customer in their home and
That's what I was gonna say. Like she did nothing to the company of DoorDash to represent the company of DoorDash badly, right? Look how many comments it has to likes, but like she did nothing in that retrospect. So I don't think like. So I was thinking like, but why'd they fire her? But like you recording that customer and the customer was in their house. To be fair, uh, again, nobody knows that the door was uh, cracked or open. You could let's just say give her the benefit of the doubt, and the door was wide ass open. Like, I mean, that situation is terrible, and again, the best you can give her, the best I can give her is it was indecent, and but the man was passed out. He was passed out on the couch, and he had his shit for everybody to see. We know that, but like he's in his house. I mean, there's not much you can do. So you recording it and then exposing him to the internet. If you were to report it, if she were to do anything, but if she were to record it and then submit it to like the police or DoorDash, then that's probably another thing. She probably still gets the DoorDash. But you posting on the internet for everybody to see, I'm guessing the video unblurred and everything, then there's still a customer, and you shouldn't have done that. I mean, even if the guy was like walking around, that'd probably be a little different. Walking around and walking towards her, then they'd probably be like, okay, like this guy was obviously trying to do something, but the dude was passed out on the couch. I mean, I think recording him and then exposing him was kind of a little much, but
disclosing their personal details publicly is a clear violation of our policies. That is the sole reason that this Dasher's account was deactivated, along with the customers. So both of them were deactivated, all right? He was in the wrong for sure. He should have made sure his doors were locked. Even if he was drunk or passed out from some kind of intoxication, he should have made sure after that goon sesh or while he was doing what he was doing, all doors were locked. And she should have made sure that she never filmed that and never uploaded it to the internet. Two wrongs don't make a right. I also saw this one comment from the r/DoorDash subreddit on Reddit. And this one person said missing info. She took photo/video of the man as quote unquote evidence, but then posted several places online before contacting police. So she, once again, literally posted all this for clout before even contacting local authorities. They also said exposing customers online
If that's
is
true.
explicitly prohibited in the Dasher's contract. They're taking the assault seriously and have contacted police to start investigation and have banned the customer. Someone else responded back by saying, allegedly a friend of his responded on TikTok, and here's the comment. Here's the comment saying, and this is from a person named Ladybug, so I'm gonna assume it's a girl, could be a guy, who knows. They say, he's suing her for false allegations. My friend knows him. He has a doorbell camera, and it proves the door was closed, and she walked in from what my friend said. So that sounds crazy. This is, by the way, hearsay. Someone else responded back by saying, well, in the original video, she said it was cracked open. And I have not seen that original video yet. So many people keep talking about an original video. I have yet to see it. So again, this is speculation, but they go on to say, and that she pushed it open. So even if it wasn't fully closed, she's 100% in the wrong. Ladybug then said it was fully closed. They have the doorbell ring footage. So when that footage comes out, if they can prove that this door was closed or even just cracked, because you know some doors have a problem with fully closing sometimes, then she's truly fucked, and she's gonna be liable for doxing and uploading almost like semi-revenge corn, if you can call it that. Then Goblin responded back by saying, oh, I know, I'm just saying, if you even go by what she was claiming, she's in the wrong too, because she, I suppose in this alleged initial video of which I believe TikTok took down because she didn't censor this guy's, body parts properly. She probably uploaded another version, speculatively, allegedly, that then complied with TikTok's rules. By the way, TikTok banned her account. I think she got like 3 strikes. So clearly, DoorDash is not on her side. TikTok's not on her side. The general public is not on her side. Aside from a few,
she just
French
doxed them,
I
bro.
believe she's 100% in the right, which I don't think she is. Like, I understand her perspective, but I just,
However, there's a lot of people right now that claim that they saw her original video and they saw her open the door because it was just opened by a crack, and then she ended up pushing it the rest of the way through. And then there's a whole nother group of people that say that they didn't see the video of her doing that, but then they did hear her say later on in a different video that she ended up taking down that she did push the door open. What we do know this woman did was that she got her camera out and she ended up taking a video of this man. What we also know is that that man is inside his house in his living room on his couch, and he is passed out. What would happen? What kind of conversation would we all be having if the genders were reversed and it was actually a man delivery driver and he took his camera out and he videoed a woman that was in her living room, in her house, on her couch, naked, by the way, and passed out? Yeah, there would be no talks of sexual harassment on, his side. She would probably have a stronger case of being sexually harassed, let's be honest here. And rightfully so, because that is weirdo behavior. You don't film anybody, male or female, on their couch passed out like that. You don't know what happened to them, literally. If anything, if you're genuinely concerned, call 911 and ambulance maybe, because clearly something's not right. But then again, that is the plagues of living in a low trust society where everybody is highly cynical and thinking that everyone has the worst intentions for them, and it's a toxic mindset. It really is. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I honestly try to see things from
that's about it. I went over that because I was seeing a bunch of buzz about it, and I was like, what the hell is this about? So I looked it up, and this is the first video that came out. But yeah, I agree. If the roles were reversed, it would have been, everybody would have been like, what the fuck? If the man was recording the video of the girl, and then she would have had a case for revenge porn, basically. But yeah, that's it on that one. We're gonna go over the Oklahoma thing too. Let me take this call. Hello. What's up? What's up? I'm gonna go get some water too. Huh? My phone? Said the snap.
That's why we gotta try to come up with something.
What happened?
What's up, baby?
You said they weren't gonna do that. You said they weren't gonna do that.
I didn't think they were. Goddamn Trump ain't playing. They don't give a shit about 42 million people.
Yep.
42 million people gonna be behind.
Yep. What up, man? What? Six. No, the Rockets was 8.5. Yeah. Six and a half. Oh, chat. I'm back, man. Hold on. I'm back, chat. Oh. Hey, shout out Maury though for that video. Yep, we got the Oklahoma video next. Oklahoma, that kid, dude. Oh, let me pull up the chat though. Pull up the chat. Fuck, dude, I keep switching the wrong account. Yep. Alright. Alright, we're gonna watch this Law and Crime just so we get the full grasp, bro. I know he took a plea deal. That's like the main thing. Hold on. Well, somebody watch this video. Yeah, we might watch that. But I know he was like, he was or not convicted, but he took a plea deal to take basically no time in jail. But this full video is what I wanted to watch, just so we can get the full grasp of it. But yeah, let's watch.
Well, if this don't set you on fire, I guarantee your wood's wet, because it makes you upset. Anybody that listens to this is going to be absolutely upset.
There is outrage in Oklahoma right now as a teenage rapist who could have gotten almost 80 years in prison for violent attacks instead doesn't have to spend any time behind bars at all.
Remember, this guy is like, his dad used to be the Oklahoma State. His dad was like the head of football operations, I believe his exact position. So like, yeah, I probably played a role. I mean, he's from Oklahoma. I mean, dude, this is horrendous. I mean, these girls were literally 2 years younger than him. He's 18. The girls were like 16, and he choked them and raped them and whatever, and you know, whatever else he did. So that's terrible. But yeah, let's keep watching. I mean, to get off scot-free, bro. Tell me, you people in my comments, in my previous video, tell me that white privilege isn't a thing now. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Tell me white privilege isn't a thing. Tell me, oh, the institutions aren't racist. Dare a black kid try to do this. And then you got people like TK, one state below him, and he didn't even pull the trigger on anybody. He's serving life. And girls in that situation, in the same situation as him, that they both didn't pull the trigger, they got out scot-free. Another thing that I've been saying for a long time, bro. Now, I did look into the TK case a long time ago, but I remember it. I mean, I know he didn't pull the trigger. For him to get like life is wrong. Okay, he got way too much time. Like he should not have been locked up that long, or serving that long as time, when other people in that same case, the white girls, didn't get anything, or they might have had like time served or something like that. I can't remember exact sentences, but they got way less than what TK had. TK did run from the cops and all that, but like, dude, life? I mean, he did some fucked up shit, but like, if you letting those girls scot-free, I mean, that's a problem too. But that's off topic, and that's a whole nother case. So let's keep watching this.
Being called.
But you people in my comments, tell me that it's not real after this video.
The new Brock Turner, as you have parents, community members, at least one lawmaker, they are crying foul over this sweetheart deal. We are going to be sitting down with a content creator and reporter who has been covering every aspect of this case to try to figure out what happened here. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. A high school baseball player out in Stillwater, Oklahoma, just accepted a deal that means he won't spend any time in prison after pleading no contest to some of the most heinous charges there are. Charges like rape, forced oral sodomy, assault and battery by strangulation. According to graphic arrest affidavits that were filed in Payne County, Oklahoma court, then 17-year-old Jesse Mack Butler targeted at least 2 teen girls that he dated. And many of these accusations, they are right out of a horror movie.
2 girls.
Now, before we dig in.
Oh, that cut out. But 2 girls, and he's going on scot-free. This is bullshit.
That he dated. And many of these accusations, they are right out of a horror movie, okay? So now, before we dig into this, before we dig deeper into these affidavits, I got to tell you a little bit more about Butler, who turned 18 in August. So he attended Stillwater Public Schools, played for the high school baseball teams and other regional outfits. This is according to reporting from the Daily Mail. Stillwater is the home of Oklahoma State University, and Butler, by the way, comes from an influential sports family. The Daily Mail reports that his father, Mac Butler, was the OSU football team's director of operations from 2001 to 2004, and then again in 2009 until 2021. He was then hired as the assistant athletics director for Stillwater Public Schools. Butler's mother, Jackie Butler, is a coordinator for Cowboys sports properties at OSU. This is again according to the Daily Mail. Family members of Butler's victims described him as seemingly like, quote, the perfect boyfriend when he dated their 16-year-old daughters. But these affidavits, they reveal that behind
That's what they all say.
Butler was essentially a violent predator who refused to be told no. I'm going to take a look at this paperwork, okay? Now, we're not going to be getting into some of the more graphic parts of the affidavits, but this will give you an idea of the grave seriousness of this case. Now, according to the first affidavit, a 16-year-old identified by her initials LS told a school resource officer in September of 2024 that she had dated Jesse Butler for a few months earlier in the year, and that during that time, he physically and sexually assaulted her multiple times, including trying to rape her inside his car outside of an ice cream shop the previous February. The affidavit reads, LS reported she yelled and told him no repeatedly and tried to push him off of her, but was unable to overpower him. Ellis reported Butler told her he was sorry for what he had to do, but he had to do it. Ellis recalled hyperventilating because Butler...
Wait, let me read this. Ellis reported she yelled and told him no repeatedly and tried to push him off of her, but was unable to overpower him. Ellis... Okay, Ellis must be the girl. That's why I was getting confused. Ellis reported Butler told her he was sorry for what he was about to do, but he had to do it. Okay. Ellis recalled hyperventilating because Butler intended to have sexual intercourse with her and she did not want to. Oh, Jesus, man. I don't know. I think he said that it was from the previous February. I wish he would have just said that before. I don't know if this is just now coming out. I don't want to assume anything. I'm just going to keep watching. This is a thing, though, like where I'd be like, you know, she's claiming that this happened. Of course, investigate that and then, you know, see if she's telling the truth or not, of course. But just so you guys know, like, since now that he obviously took the plea deal, obviously, like, he can't defend himself and or he's not trying to go to court because obviously he knows he did it and this is like the sweetheart deals. I can safely say that he did this shit. Like, he was doing all of this shit. Like, I believe what she is saying. So there is no, you know, gray areas or anything like that. What you would be dealing with if the case was like ongoing or something like that. This kid is a monster for sure. So just by the way, let's keep going.
Sexual intercourse with her, and she did not want to. Now, according to LS, a woman must have heard her screaming because she walked up to the car and interrupted them. LS told police that Butler told her that if the police came, they would both be in trouble. He reportedly took her back to his home where her car was parked and then tried to rape her again. The affidavit says LS told Butler she needed to get home, but Butler pulled her on top of him and told her, "You're not going until I'm finished." LS said she was eventually able to get out of the car and get home. Now, the victim told police that Butler forced her to perform oral sex on him in the parking lot of a Planet Fitness despite her saying no. And unbelievably, during the assault, the affidavit says that Butler took a call from his mom, told LS she had to be silent or he would hurt her. There's another assault that happened at Butler's home and what's referred...
Could you imagine? You know, I advocate for no violence on this channel. Imagine if my daughter called me and told me what just happened to her. Do you know what would happen? Listen, I don't have to say what would happen on this YouTube channel. I don't know what would happen on this. I don't know what would happen to that kid if my daughter called me and said that happened to her. Okay, I don't know where that kid would be right now or what would happen to that kid, but it probably wouldn't be friendly. I tell you that right now. That is horrible. That is horrendous, bro.
...to as a movie room.
Jesus.
According to LS, she believes Butler's mom heard her crying and saying no as Butler tried to have sex with her, and she apparently came to the door asking if everything was okay. But it seems that's as far as this mom's interaction went, because the affidavit just says that Butler drove LS home at that point. Except he didn't take her all the way home. No, he apparently parked nearby, tried to sexually assault her for nearly 2 hours. The affidavit says that when she finally managed to get to her house, he followed her and continued trying to assault her inside of the home. And the abuse just kept getting worse, because according to LS, in late February of 2024, Butler reportedly strangled her because she refused to have sex with him. So the affidavit says, quote, LS reported she was hyperventilating and then recalled her vision being blurry and she was dizzy. She reported her head immediately hurt and she was confused about what occurred. She was scared of Butler, but when she regained consciousness, Butler was laughing at her. Following this incident, LS reported she had a handprint and injury on her neck. Now, LS was examined by a sexual assault specialist, confirmed the teen had been a victim of sexual and physical abuse. This is according to the affidavit.
Okay, so they confirmed that she was. Okay, but I want to get to this. I'm sorry I keep pausing. It's only been 5 minutes, but he's already named like a million crimes that this kid has done. Like, it's been 5 minutes, and this kid is literally like the Antichrist. Like, dude, this dude. So first off, when he said he tried to, I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube. I think I can, but he tried to rape her or sexually assault her outside of an ice cream shop. They got home. He tried to do it again. Apparently the mom heard it, came in there and said, "Is everything okay?" Apparently it's okay. And if she said anything to the mom, then he'd hurt her. Okay. Then later on, she got in her car, and then she tried to go home or something like that. He got in the car. And then when he was driving her home, he pulled over and tried to do it again. I don't know what tried to do it again means. I don't know if he did it again, or if he's done it 3 times in a row now. And like, yeah, that. And then when they got home, he followed her like in their driveway and tried to do it again. Again, I don't know what tried to do. Like, did he do it? I don't know. But like, dude, this kid is fucking like a terrible person. Horrible. My lord. But keep going.
I gotta say, by the way, this is a prime example of what we try to do here on Sidebar. We're trying
He
to
got off free too. He got off free. That's crazy. By the way, I just had to say that. But
and the legal system. We're trying to understand the law. And I have to say, I am so happy that this show is sponsored by legal experts, Morgan & Morgan, right? This is America's largest injury law.
I'm not doing it.
Started dating. So Butler and LS, they apparently broke up in March of 2024. He started dating KS, and his disturbing and aggressive behavior, that allegedly continued. You have a second affidavit that details assaults that KS says she suffered during this relationship. Quote, KS reported she engaged in sexual intercourse with Jesse Butler throughout the term of their relationship and did so to prevent physical aggression from him. When KS told Butler he was hurting her, he did not care and would not stop. Because of his aggressiveness, she was scared to tell him to stop. She expressed she was scared not to do what he wanted because of how physically violent he had been with her. KS reported Butler had left bruises on her hips from squeezing her so tightly. KS reported the intercourse was extremely aggressive, but she reported she quickly stopped fighting it because Butler would overpower her and hurt her to get his way. KS explained she learned what to do and not to do to avoid being hurt by Butler. According to KS, Butler would pin her down and she was physically unable to get him off of her. KS stated this would often lead her to hyperventilate, which Butler thought was funny. So not only is it horrific, but you're seeing how these accounts are very similar to one another. Now, according to this affidavit, Butler also strangled KS, and so bad, so long, that she eventually passed out. She reported she woke up on the floor of the living room in a house where she was apparently house sitting, and she claims Butler was livid that she wouldn't have sex with him in someone else's home. But after strangling her, KS claims, Butler raped her 3 or 4 times. Later that same week, KS reported that Butler strangled her again. And if it's possible to even believe this, it was an even sicker power play. The affidavit says KS stated Butler told her he wanted to strangle her so he could film it on his phone. And if you can believe it, police found that video on Butler's phone, which showed him choking KS until she passed out. What these girls went through, what they endured, is just unimaginable. But then you get to the consequences, and that too.
You know who needs to be, you know who needs more of a punishment than this guy? It's the prosecutor. They need to prosecute that prosecutor. That prosecutor is the worst prosecutor of all time. You give this kid a plea deal, or let me watch the full video. I don't know if the prosecutor offered the plea deal. I don't know if the judge reduced the sentence. I don't know what happened. I'm not a lawyer, like I said, but this kid getting off scot-free is the crime of the century. These are all things that you would read this type of stuff in like Ted Bundy's documentary. Like, I mean, Ted Bundy's documentary might be like on par with this dude's story here. I mean, dude, hey, it's not that bad. Let me say that. It's not that bad, but this kid's a monster, bro. A monster. He said 3 or 4 times. Right there 3 or 4 times? Hell nah, bro. Fuck no. That's crazy.
Is seemingly unimaginable. Why? So Jesse Butler was charged in March of 2025 as an adult with 10 felony counts. We are talking rape. We are talking attempted rape, sexual battery, assault. He was later hit with an 11th charge when he apparently violated a protective order. He was facing almost 80 years in prison for these crimes. He ended up entering into a no contest plea, okay? This is where everything changes. This is where the big shock comes when he entered that plea in August. His case had apparently been downgraded from adult court to youthful offender status. And because of that, he would spend no time behind bars. So instead of his 78-year prison sentence, that was deferred. It's deferred as long as he complies with his, quote, rehabilitation plan. According to News Nation, until his 19th birthday, Butler has to do these daily check-ins, these weekly counseling sessions. He has a curfew. He isn't allowed to be on social media. He has to complete 150 hours of community service, and if he does that, no prison time. The district attorney's office released this statement per the Daily Mail. The youthful offender sentence imposed against Jesse Butler requires him to complete his rehabilitation plan successfully, including an aggressive schedule of therapy with a specialist in sex offender treatment, and should he fail, he faces reclassification as an adult and a sentence of 10 years in prison. So this complete 180 on punishment for this apparent sexual predator, as you can imagine, has caused quite the outrage in the city of Stillwater, and now across the world as the story spreads. There are calls for the judge who approved this plea deal, Special Judge Susan Worthington, to be reprimanded, to be removed.
Absolutely.
And even the state's legislature could possibly be getting involved here. Oklahoma State Representative Justin J.J. Humphrey appeared on Ashley Banfield's show on News Nation this week, and he is fired up.
But I keep coming back to how it happened. Sir, do you think that the courts are corrupt? Is that how you think that this deal was maneuvered?
Hey, he better say yes. And I know he's a Republican because they don't have any Democrats in Oklahoma. But he, as a conspiracy theorist, it's got to be corrupted. It's not a conspiracy, bro. It's something happened. Something happened there. Investigation needs to happen now. That's the real crime. Obviously, that kid is the real crime, but this is a big crime, too. How can he go off scot-free? That cannot happen. That can never happen. That's ridiculous. Please, bro, tell me he told me, like, it's got to be scam. It's got to be a scam. It's got to be an inside job. Is somebody paid off something? Because there's no way in hell a real mind thinks that, oh, yeah, this kid can get a rehabilitation schedule and he can do community hours and the kid's fine. He did this to 2 girls. Like, dude, it's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. We're working on grand juries right there. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think we're going to see more cases like this. I think we're going to see, I'm working on a case that may be as shocking as this. We're trying to get the Payne County grand jury because of this kind of action. And so, yes, I mean, absolutely, there's a lot of problems. We're meeting with, great resistance from their court and from our Oklahoma government. I mean, we're meeting with great resistance on trying to get that grand jury and hold these people accountable. So again, until they're held accountable, the laws are there, but what do you do when they don't follow their own rules when they don't follow justice. They took an oath to justice. Does this sound like justice? And again, here's what I'm saying.
Nope.
Shouldn't we investigate? Should we not investigate? Was there political favor done here? Was this done as a result because of positions the father has or because people knew each other? I would think that it would warrant investigation. And again, it's all allegations. We don't know what happened until we go in and investigate it. But
Nigga.
golly, I'm mad.
Nigga, something happened, bro. Fuck that. Something going on right there. That's something right there where you look at it, it's like, something's for sure not right. Something's 100% not right. This dude getting out scot-free, and this is supposed to be like a Oklahoma down south Republican state, no crime, hard on crime, tough on crime, especially in today's environment. When they're sending National Guards to Democrat cities because they're not tough on crime. And they just let this kid off scot-free? Oh, hell no. Something's off, bro. Something's off.
It is all get out, and we're trying to
Something's
have
off,
other
man.
things there in that same county investigated. I mean, very, very corrupt things going on in this county and really across the state. There's all kinds of things.
So I want to bring in Justin Shepard, host of Just in the Nick of Crime. So happy to have you on here to talk about this. You've been following this case closely. You helped shine a national spotlight on this. How did you first hear about this case?
So actually, a friend of mine, another mutual social media creator, he goes by Missing in USA. Literally, his content is all, for the most part, missing people and stories, and they work behind the scenes and actually research this stuff. He lives in Stillwater, and he sent me this story, and that night I was actually getting ready to go live on YouTube to talk about three different cases, and I was like, after I read that story, I was so enraged that I was like, I'm going to scrap what I'm talking about right now because these cases have been, cold for years, and we're going to talk about this. And I was infuriated. I called a friend of mine who's an attorney. I was like, hey, can you hop on right now because I want to talk to you about some stuff, ask some questions. So she did as well. And then from there, apparently I opened the floodgates in Stillwater, Oklahoma. From there, I got it sent over to the people over on News Nation. It's like, hey, you guys might want to talk about this. But basically, Dan had initially sent me that story and was like, something needs to be done about this. But when you see somebody getting charged with the charges that he had, and we can get into those a little bit more here in a moment, but originally being sentenced to 78 years and then walking away with 150 hours of community service, that is just a miscarriage of justice. There's just no other way to look at it.
I haven't seen anything like this,
Me either.
anything near this. And from your research, from speaking with experts, from speaking with attorneys,
Dude, fuck that judge. Fuck that judge, bro.
What's the rationale here?
Imagine their families. Imagine their families, bro. Fuck that judge. As much as I hate that kid, fuck that judge. That's terrible.
What have you learned here about how this is even possible? Because I will tell you, there is a lot of speculation online right now that the Butler family may have connections that may have helped him get this so-called sweetheart deal. We couldn't confirm that. What can you tell us?
So I've spoken with some of the families as well of both victims who came forward against Jesse. There is a third victim who, she hasn't come forward, but can you blame her when you look at this as the justice that they get? So there's a third victim. And kind of like you said, the speculation is that...
Wait. A third one? A third one, bro? Is that what he said?
Well, of both victims who came forward against Jesse, there is a third victim who...
Bro. Nah, that's crazy. A third one. Now, like you said, I agree, bro. How can you step up? When women say, like, they're scared to step up, dude, I believe them 100% these days, bro. Like, look at this story. They did this blatantly obvious. The dude earlier said that the cops seen the video, and they get treated like this. Hell nah, bro. And then and then when you know how people be saying like, oh, they should step up, and why did it take so long for them to say something? And then like this is the verdict that you get, right? I mean, like, dude, and they probably know it's through their head like their father is the um, what is it? The head of so where they live, like probably the biggest thing in that city is the football team, right? The college in there. I mean, I live in the same situation. The biggest thing in this little town is that college, 100%. That is the thing. And then when they run the head of the football operation, that's like a top position. That's bigger than the mayor in towns like this. Uh, like the head of football operations, like that's very top of the top because colleges don't have owners, right? So yeah, I mean, how could you come up and you think? I mean, it's probably going through their head that it's rigged and shit like that, which it probably is. There's some connection. Like, come on, there's some connection. This dude is the head football coach in the college town, small college town. He probably knows somebody that maybe they don't know directly, but this dude definitely knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. You know what I mean? 100%. He can find that out 100%. And of course, he's gonna go through hell and back to get his son a good deal, and this is the best deal of all time. So that's definitely a thing that could be happening. So yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for stepping up as well, but man, I'd do anything to get this kid behind some bars, bro. I mean, this story is probably the worst story I've heard in a long time of a dude getting off scot-free. He was facing 80 years and then he got community service. What the fuck?
She hasn't come forward, but can you blame her when you look at this as the justice that they get? So there's a third victim. And kind of like you said, the speculation is that Jesse Mac Butler's father is a man by the name of Mac Butler. And he was the head of football operations at OSU for I forget how many years, but for a pretty long time. He's, kind of a staple in that community. And when we're talking about Stillwater, Oklahoma, we're talking about OSU, for people who don't know, Stillwater is the town that Oklahoma State University is in. So there's a lot of things tied to that. Mac Butler, it seems that he grew up there. His wife currently works for OSU. His daughter works for the public school system there. He was apparently had been hired as like a coach of some kind for Stillwater High School as well. So somebody with deep-rooted ties into the community, and that then leads you to the judge in this case, or one of the judges in this case, Judge Susan Worthington. Between her and her father, the Worthingtons have had a hold on that bench for over 50 years. So while you can't necessarily say definitively that, hey, there's this connection here because he's deep-rooted in football, she's a judge, they all grew up in the same town, that there's this kind of connection, but it's not really many difficult mental gymnastics to make that leap, right? That, hey, this is a town that requires the college, needs the college to survive. It's very deep rooted.
Basically, what he's saying is all you need is two brain cells to rub together to put two and two together. That big football coach and head of operations knows people that knows the judge, and make the connection. I mean, all you need is two brain cells to rub together. I promise.
System that they're very much supportive of OSU for this whole kind of thing to be very close-knit, and that's kind of what's being speculated, to the point that even it's now gotten the attention of one of Oklahoma's lawmakers, Representative J.J. Humphrey, who's also running for lieutenant governor. I'm actually going to be speaking with him later tonight, a little bit more details, but
yeah, and if you can, I don't know if you've spoken with him already, but Representative Humphrey is talking, my understanding is about a potential investigation into this. Is this true? Is there going to be a formal investigation into what happened here?
It sounds that way, yeah. He kind of looks at it from the same way. He was telling me that he's got a lot of background, in the court system and investigation before he got into politics. And he said, basically kind of the same thing that we were just talking about, that can he say definitively or can he prove right now that there's a connection? No, but his exact words, but it sure as hell smacks like it, And so he's like, it's worth an investigation. So he's thinking about, wanting to put a grand jury together to do an indictment possibly, the conversation we had, which will go a little bit more in depth, and I don't know if that could bring additional charges against Jesse, because when you look again at the litany of charges, there are some that should have been on there that weren't. Like, in my opinion, as not a lawyer, why he wasn't charged with attempted murder when one of the girls was near death for what he did. And so those are kind of the conversations, but he feels that not just Stillwater, that entire county, Payne County, and then other places in Oklahoma, there's a lot of, he said it flat out, there's corruption, and he believes that this is no different than that. and it merits an investigation.
What is the community saying? What is the community feeling about this? Are they up in arms about it?
Yeah, they are. So there's a protest they're planning sometime next month. I think November. I want to say November 5th. But they're planning a protest, but they don't think that it's fair. And you know what's been very interesting about this is that since, like I said at the beginning, I opened the floodgates on this. Since I started talking about Jesse, I've gotten no less than 20 to 25 messages, whether it's through Insta or direct email, or even Messenger, of people saying, "Hey, here's my experience with Judge Worthington. Here's my experience with this DA. Here's my experience in the judicial system in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and Payne County." And what's been interesting about all these stories, I've kind of started to compile them together and to one thing so I can kind of analyze them. And a lot of these, not all, but a lot of them have the exact same players in every one of them. There's another case, for example, that Judge Worthington and I think Michael Culling, don't hold me to the last one, was on it. And basically, this was a guy, he was a teacher, got arrested for sexting a 13-year-old girl, was sentenced to 10 years. Not just that, he was also stalking her, trying to break into her house. This is a grown man, okay, an educator. And he gets sentenced to 10 years, which sounds great, right? He does 8 months and gets out. While he's out, he rapes a 16-year-old girl. The family gets an emergency protective order against her, He violates it 11 times. Each time, Judge Worthington gives him a $500,000 fine. The girl doesn't feel safe. She wants to get out of that town as quickly as she possibly can as soon as she graduates and just be out of Stillwater. And this is another case. I'm actually probably going to be doing something today on it or tomorrow, but this is another case that, again, it's the exact same players, and there's a lot of them.
Is this judge Satan? What the fuck? This judge has let out a grown man sexting a 13-year-old or not let him out. Basically, he did 8 months. He was sentenced to 10. He's now letting off this kid that's raped 3 girls, like 6 times each of them, probably more than that. That's just what I'm hearing from these stories. He's probably done it a million times, damn near. He almost did it to one where she passed out on the floor, and whatever else she let go. I mean, dude, it needs to be an investigation now, bro. The FBI needs to look into it. They're looking at basketball players for rigging games. They need to look at this. Okay, this dude his dad is the head football whatever of the current Oklahoma State football team, and the motherfucker just gets off. I mean, it's the same city, same town, and of course he knows somebody, dude. Of course he knows somebody. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm tired of that. I can see when it's an actual problem. Okay, I can see when it's actually rigged. Okay, something's not right here. Something's not right. I don't know what else to say. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but this is not right. Something's not right here, and it's not hard to tell.
With it. And I was telling Representative Humphrey about that as well. This is not just a one-time singular incident when it comes to these predators.
Yeah. First of all, you talk about violating a protective order, okay? My understanding is something happened with Butler violating a protective order, and I think that would, speak to a lack of concern, a lack of consequences.
Correct.
You just mentioned it in this other case. What can you tell us about that?
So I believe, obviously, because the victims were minors, we'll leave their names out, but for one of the victims, he wouldn't stop harassing her, wouldn't stop calling her, wouldn't stop threatening her, despite the fact that the court told him not to do it. And he didn't even get, he got that charge, but nothing really happened for it. When you're at that point and you're facing the charges that he's facing, you have to take that very seriously, especially when there's strangulation charges on this. Yeah. And even though there was 2 charges that happened, there were 3 strangulations on at least 2 of the victims. So one of those victims too had to have surgery. I don't know if you've seen the pictures on that, but had to have surgery to correct the damage that he did. And her medical physician said, I think that he said 30 seconds from death, but let's just say, he basically said that she is very near death on what he did. And this is also a guy who strangled one girl to the point of unconscious. Each strangulation was a point of unconsciousness. And one of those points, once she woke back up, he had set his camera up because he wanted to film it. He did it again to the point of unconsciousness to this girl. caught it on camera, and actually when they searched his devices, they found that video. So it's not like hearsay; it's actually there. So when you have that, and you have young 16-year-old girls, who had to just go through this horrific ordeal. You look at pictures of Jesse Butler. He's an athlete. He's a big guy. It's an issue of he can easily overpower these people, using tactics of fear, coercion, things like that, based on what we've heard. What are these girls supposed to do when you don't have a judicial system that's protecting them, when he blatantly disregards what the court has said? I think that speaks volumes, and I think it speaks even more when the courts do nothing about it.
And I want to highlight something. So one of these victims, talk about the victims, one of the victims submitted a victim impact statement to the court for the sentencing hearing. And according to KOCO, an Oklahoma outlet that reviewed the court paperwork, she wrote, "I've had to explain bruises, explain silence, explain why I started isolating from people who love me. You didn't just strangle me with your hands, you strangled my voice, my joy, my ability to feel safe in my own body." The Daily Mail spoke with the mother of one of the girls that Butler attacked, calling her only Amber. She told them, "It's appalling. I received similar punishments for breaking curfew when I was a teenager. It's a complete injustice to these girls and to future victims because, unfortunately, statistically, it won't end. Not only are you giving a slap in the face to those survivors, you are potentially putting other women at risk by not holding him accountable." Now, Justin, some people are calling Jesse Butler the new Brock Turner, because back in 2015, Turner was this 19-year-old star swimmer at Stanford University, sexually assaulted a woman while she was unconscious. He was convicted in 2016 of 3 charges of felony sexual assault, but at his sentencing, you had Santa Clara County Superior Court Judge Aaron Persky sentenced him to just 6 months in jail, followed by 3 months of probation. He was required to register as a sex offender for life. He ended up being released after just 3 months for good behavior. The judge in that case, by the way, ended up being recalled by local voters in 2018. The case influenced California's legislator to require prison terms.
I've never heard of
for
that, but
rapists
that's
whose victims are
disgusting.
unconscious,
Again,
changed the
dude.
definition of what rape means to include digital penetration. So there was an outcome there, but I feel like that's a fair kind of comparison, no?
I think it's a great comparison because you have, rape by instrumentation, which is pretty much the same thing as, digital penetration. And
no, I think this one's worse because he did it like fucking a million times, and that was only one time. But that's still terrible. He should have went to jail for longer, for sure. And this kid didn't even have to register as a sex offender, as from what I've seen or what they have said. So I mean, this is a worse situation and a worse sentencing that he got. Worse meaning like easier crime or easier basically let off easier. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a lot worse, but yeah, keep going. That's also bad though. That I've never heard of that, but yeah.
I agree with you, and I think that with Brock Turner, who, by the way, I have been told, I've not researched on my own, that he has changed his name to Alan Turner, so that I guess he can survive a little bit better. That was another travesty, just because these girls, they have to live with this for the rest of their life, what happened to them. And these people get off scot-free. What kind of message does that send? And I think that when you look at somebody like Jesse Butler, I agree with you. And, you've covered enough cases, I've covered enough cases to know that people like this, they reoffend. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I know that I believe that we both know some of the same people. And Gabby Petito's family, they've really gone into domestic violence awareness and things like that, changing the laws. Well, Jim Schmidt, her stepdad, had told me that when somebody puts their hands around your neck, there is a 750% increased chance that they will kill you. So for Jesse Butler, somebody who has now comfortably strangled girls at least 3 times to the point of unconsciousness, filmed it, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen when he's now in college and all of this stuff is expunged from him, which, by the way, I don't know if you were aware of that, you probably were, that when he turns 19, less than a year from now, all of this stuff is expunged. It's all
that's what I was
gone.
wondering. I was like, he didn't even get put on the sex offender list, dude. That's fucking crazy.
About except for what it's found on the web, but
because he got put in a child court, I guess.
He's at college, and now he's got alcohol. He's got access to things like roofies. Inebriated states of some of these girls who are partying that should feel safe. What's going to happen when he's there and he does that and he takes somebody's life? Who's going to be held accountable then?
And look, that's the importance of reporting on this and keeping it in the public eye. So it's not put, in the waste bin and no one knows what happened here. Something real happened here. And by the way, you and I cover these cases all the time. You know how difficult it is for survivors to come forward and explain what happened to them if there's not digital evidence to support it, if they don't have corroborating witness accounts, if there's not surveillance footage it's mostly based on their accounts. So not only coming forward and going through the process to explain what happened and going through the legal process, and now this is the result. Justin, that's why the work that you do is incredible. It is really incredible, and I can't highlight what you do enough. From what you've seen so far, how are these victims and their families doing? I mean, how are they responding to this? What was their reaction to all this? I explained it a little bit, but for the best that you can tell, I mean, how are they moving forward?
It's interesting. So when you talk about the victims, I've spoken with Amber. I talk to her, almost daily at this point. And what people have to remember too is that when something like this happens, it's not just the girl that's the victim. It affects the entire family, right? So now you have a mom and a dad, advocating for their child, and people always say the same thing. And I say it even too. And I'll take a step back. Like, I even told Amber, I was like, I don't know how you and your husband, y'all are better people than me, because I don't think I could just let somebody walk. Like, I would be okay catching charges. And she was like, we had that conversation, but we need to be on this side of some gates so that we can continue to help and advocate for.
That's what I was saying, bro. Telling you, bro. I said that at the beginning of the video. I don't know where I would be at, and I don't know where you would be at, but it probably wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, bro.
But it affects the entire family. I think that despite all of this, what I'm learning is that I've not spoken to the girls, obviously. I'd rather speak to the parents because they're young. But from what I understand from the family, they are not letting this guy take their voice. They're not letting him have the power over him. And I think that that's a pretty incredible thing, because that's what a lot of this is about, right? It's about the ability to have power and control. And I feel too that with this story now getting more of the public attention, because originally it was being swept under the rug, that they also feel so much more supported, not only by their community, who's now more aware of this, but somebody said yesterday, made a comment on one of my videos, that, I saw this on our morning news report in Oslo, Norway. And so
Really?
this has made this made it all the way overseas. And I think that for these girls, they finally feel like, even if the court's not giving him justice, he can't escape this. He can't run from this.
Yeah. And by the way, just so I know, have you heard anything from him, his family, his side? Have they reached out to you at all or anything like that?
No, but if they did, I would talk to them. I'd let them have that opportunity. But no, they haven't. My guess is they're probably laying pretty low right now. What I have heard is that there's a group, a Facebook group, and I was sent a couple screenshots of it, where the family was reaching out to the administrator of that Facebook group, basically talking about how they're being threatened and how they're being harassed and things like that, and that basically that this was a big thorn in their side, is how I will word that. That's my words, not theirs. But I'm not saying that people should harass or threaten people at all. I don't agree with that, but for it to be a thorn in their side, good. I'm okay with that.
Well, I think more answers are warranted, and I'm very curious to see what happens with your conversation with Representative Humphrey, to see what this investigation will look like. Justin, for anybody who's out there wants to see more of the work that you do, not just with this case, this story, but other stories that you cover, let everybody know where they can find you, because I think, again, you do really important work.
Well, thank you. So I'm on pretty much every platform you can think of: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Substack. And it's all the same name, Just in the Nick of Crime. So just kind of how it sounds. And I also have a website, justinthecrime.com, which will lead you to all of my socials as well. So that's kind of where you can find it and what we do. And I do different things on all the platforms depending. But, this kind of stuff, this type of awareness is important. It speaks for victims everywhere. And if I can, too, plug this, I'm also working. This case kind of got me fired up a little bit, to the point, we cover a lot of things like this, where you see predators get plea deals like this. And right now it's kind of a blanket statement, but I started a petition, which in 2 weeks has broken over 54,000 signatures right now, to stop these predators from getting plea deals. And I realize that that's a very broad statement, which once we have enough signatures, we can whittle it down to get a little bit more specific. But if anybody wants to sign that, that's linked through any of my bios as well. And once I get to 100,000, we can start taking it to some of the bigger representatives.
That's great. That's great. Justin Shepard, thank you so much for taking the time. And just on a different note, great lava lamp. Nobody does the.
I was looking at that earlier, but yeah, dude, I'm about to sign that right now. I'll sign that right now, bro. Damn, what was the name of it? I'll sign it right here on stream, bro. Cause that got me hot, bro. This motherfucker just gets to walk free. I think it was in the nick of crime. Dude, like I mean, how do you get these plea deals, bro? This is ridiculous. Oh man. Wait, maybe I only have to do this. I was about to say I don't want to show anything on my no, not that, but I'm gonna sign that petition for fucking sure. No. I might do that later. Hold on, bro. I have to sign this, bro. Oh, damn it. That's not what I meant to do. What? Dude, what? Get this off of my... Like, I want to sign this. Oh, my God, dude. Yo. It won't let me sign? So you're not going to let me sign right now. Take the next step. Okay. No, not this. Skip for now. Amplify your signature. No, I don't want to do that. You're reading what I'm saying, chat. I'm doing it off the dome, but this got me hot right now. I gotta sign it and say something. Dude, I don't want to add my voice, but I want to do that. All right, my comment added. That's good enough. That's good enough. Okay, I think I did sign it though. To be fair, I signed 3. Yeah. I didn't even know I signed that. That's funny, but I did not know I signed this, and I don't know what this is. I don't want to sign this. I don't know what that is. I'll stop in a second. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys, on this one. I'm about to play Marvel Rivals because I'm done with the politics for today. That got me hot. I'm gonna go live on my other channel though, probably for the gaming. We're gonna watch this video tomorrow. So I'm just gonna put that out there so we can remember that. I'm surprised. I'm interested to see what this is. The Kamala run. I saw that again. I saw that as well. Kamala says she might run again. That ain't gonna work out probably. And then Trump demolishing the East Wing. We'll go over all that tomorrow. It was a good stream, guys. 2 videos, long videos. We've been live for how long? Like, I think I can see it on my OBS. No, I cannot. Hour and a half, smooth hour and a half stream. So there's somebody else in here. Currently, it's me and another person that won't say. But Thanks for watching. I mean, you've been in here for a while, so I appreciate it. That shit got me hot though, man. That judge, man, that judge needs to be investigated. But man, yeah, I'm gonna go live on my other channel, the Progressive Playbook Sports, and I'm gonna be playing Marvel Rivals in case this other guy who was in here wants to see. So, yeah, appreciate everybody as well. I'm probably gonna be uploading this to YouTube, so or it'll automatically upload to YouTube, and yeah. So I appreciate all of you and.